female literacy rate in India has gone up by 25%. That's a big change. We may crib about a lot of stuff, but female literacy has shifted by 25%. The female entry into workforce has increased by 30%. And today, female economy contributes to still only 15% of India's GDP. But I think this is the change we have seen in the last 3 to 4 years. And to my mind, this is a change which is going to become bigger and bigger. What this does basically is that and I can tell you at Godrej, most of our products are aimed at women. But it's still going to change life for us, because the women we are seeing over the last 2 years and the women we're going to see over the next 5 years is something we have not known. This is a woman which is changing the way household decisions are going to get made. But at the same time, this is immediately contra phenomena which is happening, and you left wondering as a marketer, hey, what should I look at? The second phenomena which is happening, contradiction to that, is a phenomenon of genderization. And something which we like to call, yes, men are from Mars, right? The fact is today, men have started endorsing grooming products, and they are showing huge affinity to grooming products, which are all seen as girly categories earlier. So on one hand, we have a female economy which is booming. We need to cater to that. And at the same time, there's a male economy which is likely to become very, very different. This is the second big contradiction. I mean, you really see what we do here. The third, another contradiction which I'd like to point out from a channel point of view, since everybody's talked about multiple channels. So let's look from my FMCG life. It used to be so simple for us that you have a basic sales and distribution model. You have Kirana stores, general stores, you would do ABC classification 10 years back, and you would cater to them. And what's happened today? Today, on one hand, there's a species called modern trade which has evolved, which is still finding its feet, okay, but it's becoming bigger and bigger. So you have to deal with the modern trade as a channel. But let me tell you, that itself doesn't solve the problem for us saying, hey, my next big trend to pick up would be modern trade. No, we are seeing the rise of chemists from FMCG point of view. Today, chemists are no longer about prescriptions alone. They are becoming FMCG hybrid stores. That's what has happened to most of the chemists in the country. And I can tell you one trend which is very good from FMCG point of view and makes chemists important for us. There's a consumer insight that when consumers want to buy personal care products, they want to buy skin care products, they trust chemists more than any other channel. So the chemists are actually going to play a much bigger role as influencers in many categories versus a Kirana and a general store. So then the contradiction which is facing us is there's a big modern trade phenomena evolving, but then within the general trade, there's the evolution of this new general trade. Now that doesn't solve your problem. It makes your life even more complicated. And then the last contradiction which I see again of two trends happening is we all talk of digitization, which no doubt is a very, very big phenomena and which you're all very aware and cognizant of. But let me tell you, within the media, conventional media, there are new formats evolving, which is one which Sandeep heads. So that's a new phenomena which is happening. There is DTH which is happening, which we still don't know much about, very difficult to track. And there's a digitization which is happening, which is changing the game. So while on one hand we have digital media to take care of and evolve ourselves there, we can't let go of the conventional media, which itself is reinventing itself. So if I had to just step back, then to my mind, for us as business leaders, the biggest change is that there is complete contradictions happening across, and that's the only common thread. And this to my mind brings to it what should be our business models going forward. And this is something which we keep telling our teams is, I think there's a time to learn to live with ambiguity, because there are going to be no right answers in this. There were times when you could just do an input and get a very smart input ratio, input metric out. But the reality is you'll have to adapt to situations and learn to live with ambiguity. Coming to on the same brand channels, one thing we really realized that what we are selling actually is not really a FMCG product. Even though it might fall in FMCG, it won't sell through the normal Kiranas, etc., etc. We found we had to find different business models there. We still go to Kiranas, but we realized where do consumers purchase this? The biggest purchase of car fragrances happen at car accessories outlets. And those are markets which have nothing to do with FMCG. So we've gone and created a separate model around 60 cities where we have parallel distribution channel catering through car accessories. There the distributors are car accessory distributors, and they take the whole distribution forward. And today that channel contributes to 1/3 of our business already. And the consumer traction that we're seeing in terms of first trials through that channel, we wouldn't have gone through any other channels. So, when we review this internally, coming back to the whole theme of living with ambiguity, let me tell you, if I were to put a number to the kind of margins I have to give to car channels, it will look like a stupid decision, because obviously the margins which I have to share there are different. It are much more than the margins I have to pay to a conventional distributor. But the way I have to look at it is not pure numbers of metrics of margins. The kind of trials I'm getting through that, the kind of right customers I'm reaching through those channels. I think that's amazing. So I think that's where you have to live in big ambiguity. I don't have much metrics beyond a point of what most of the sensorial marketing is doing to me. It's impossible to put a finger to what a fragrance newspaper did to do you, or let's say what a airline car fragrance experience is doing to you. But I think we know that we're building a brand, and it's showing in overall brand health parameters and overall brand numbers. So that's the thought which I want to leave the group here is that in these times of contradictions, one has to learn to live with a bit of art and science, learn to live with ambiguity, and see the whole macro picture on your brand performance, and not get too sucked into input-output ratios for each parameter. And I think that applies a lot to digital as well.